out there. So again, in case you're just now joining us for this edition of Next Weather, happy Monday out there. But let's go ahead and talk more about those cold conditions that we're tracking out there just across the southeast. So here's a look at what we're seeing just out there. Again, this is going to be all across the southeast, just seeing some of that snow, that icy precipitation that moved through Cincinnati, Ohio earlier, really impacting the roadways there, the interstates. And then also we were checking in on the White House earlier. They had snow that they're experiencing in Washington, D.C. Here locally, we just have some of the gray clouds, not the prettiest look out there. But this is going to be in the wake of that system that's bringing in some of that Arctic air. So here for us locally, we do have that cold weather advisory in place, meaning that the wind chill values are going to be feeling much colder than the air temperature. And so this cold weather advisory is extending all across the Gulf Coast. So it extends down into Louisiana, portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, all included in this, just because of how cold we are going to be feeling during really the next few days. Now, this cold weather advisory only goes into place until tomorrow because the winds will begin to calm down just a little bit over the next few days, but it's breezy out there. If you haven't stepped outside, we're really noticing those winds, and the forecast lows heading into tonight, it's going to be dipping down into the 20s and the 30s. Pretty much expecting everywhere in the Fox 10 viewing area to be dipping down below freezing tonight. So it's going to be important just to make sure that you're taking those precautions out there. I'll get to more on that coming up in just a moment, but again, still expecting it to be cold as we start off for your Tuesday. So I know that the kids, they're getting ready to go back to school. Maybe you're still enjoying some time off of work, so we're not quite ready for this in comparison to what we were feeling. So tomorrow, everywhere dipping down below freezing, but as mentioned, the wind chill, once you take that dry air and that wind into account, it's going to be feeling much colder. Now, forecasted wind chill values, again, the feels like temperature feeling like the teens for many areas, 17, 18 closer towards Grove Hill, Monroeville, Evergreen, even Mobile, expecting us to be feeling more like 18 degrees as you start off tomorrow morning. That is exactly why we have that cold weather advisory in place. It's going to be so important. Make sure you bundle up. You need layers heading into tomorrow, really the next few mornings. Gloves, hats, those are going to be necessary, especially for the kiddos in case they have any early morning things going on. If they're heading back to school, it's going to be important, especially with that bus ride. It's going to be cold out there. Make sure you're checking on your car for the next few mornings. You might have that tire sensor light come back on, which is how cold it's going to be out there. So again, make sure you're taking those precautions, but I was going to go ahead and run through what we're seeing even over the next few days, because we're waking up tomorrow morning forecasting that overnight low of 28 at Mobile, but Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be even colder out there. So these cold mornings will continue. If you notice by Friday, those temperatures start to tick up just a little bit. But if you're familiar with the forecast, you notice these trends. There's oftentimes a culprit for something like that. And in this case, it is going to be rain. So we're still going to be seeing some of those cold temperatures despite that rain moving in. But if you notice too, we're mixing 39 with rain, and it's not below freezing. So we're not expecting the icy precipitation here. Instead, those best chances for any of the icy, snowy stuff, that'll be further north. So if you are wanting to see snow, anything like that, you can head closer towards the mid-south. Northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and Tennessee are expecting more of that once we get closer towards Friday and Saturday. As for us here locally, not expecting that, mainly just expecting instead we'll be getting some cold rain to start off for your Friday, continuing into the afternoon and the evening. Now, the freeze checklist, things to think about during this time. People, I'd mentioned that, the layers, the hats, the gloves, those are things that you're going to be needing for the next few mornings, especially as you head out the door. It's feeling like the teens. It's feeling cold out there. Your pets, absolutely no question about it. Make sure you're bringing them inside during this time. Your dogs, your cats, make sure that they have ways to stay warm. Also, it's important in case you do normally have any of those outdoor animals, make sure that they have a way to have fresh water, that it's not going to be freezing over, especially if you own livestock. Something to think about with the cows, the horses out there. Make sure they have a way to still drink water even during some of these cold times. Make sure it's more of that deep trough that you have available for them. Now, the plants, Those ones you can go ahead and cover with sheets, blankets, towels, anything you might have handy. You can head out to any of the thrift stores too. They have cheap sheets that you can just go ahead and throw over them. And also another great way to do it too is we have all these Christmas sales going on. You can wrap non-LED, keyword there, non-LED lights around them, the ones that get warm to the touch whenever you have them on. You can wrap them around your plants pretty good, and that'll help keep them warm throughout the chilly evenings. Sprinklers. This is a reminder I have to give myself. I have to give Joe it too. You guys watch Studio 10, Joe Eamer, just saying, hey, make sure your sprinklers are turned off, because we do have the automatic sprinklers. It's something that we forget about all the time. So we actually turn them off at the street whenever it does start to get this cold. Just that way we turn them off. We know that we're okay, because you don't want to wake up with any of the iciness spread across your yard tomorrow, since we will be dipping down below freezing. And then heater safety. Remember, we preach it all the time here on Fox 10. Give it space. That's going to be the best advice that we have throughout this time, just in case you are going to be doing any of those, if you are going to be using a space heater during this time. Also, in case you're going to be using a heated blanket too, make sure also that you are giving it plenty of space. Or not so much space, make sure you're turning it off once you are finished with that electric blanket too. I know some of them have the automatic shut off feature, but it's best to go ahead and make sure that you're also turning those off. So that's going to be our best tips for the next few days. Again, I'm going to go back real quick just to talk about more for anyone that's joining us late heading into tonight of how cold it's going to be, because the overnight lows, they're dipping down into the 20s, the 30s, and it's going to be feeling even colder. So here's the actual air temperature waking up tomorrow morning. This is not hard freeze. It's typically once we get into the very lower 20s or below that we'll start to see those hard freeze warnings in effect. So not quite there. If you have those exterior pipes, it may be a concern for you, then you'll want to drip those. But as far as that's going to go for our far northern counties that need to be doing that. Tonight is mainly the plants, the pets, the people that you need to be concerned about, since we're dipping down below freezing. And then wind chill, this is just the feels like temperature when you step outside. It's going to be cold. It's feeling like the teens out there once you take those northerly winds and that dry air into account. But we are going to continue to keep you updated on your forecast right here on Fox 10. Again, I'm Jennifer Lambers, and today's edition of Next Weather. Likely during this next week, we're going to be focusing on the cold temperatures, because they are here to stay until we get closer towards the end of the week. And then even looking ahead to the weekend, Sunday morning, expecting more of those freezing temperatures as you do begin the day. Wishing everyone a wonderful Monday. Happy New Year. We've made it to 2025. As always, in case you do have any questions for our team of meteorologists here, you're more than welcome to message us, email us if you have any suggestions of things that you want covered during Next Weather. We'd be more than happy to touch up on that with you and share whatever we can with you guys. So again, happy Monday. Wishing everyone a fantastic day. We'll have an additional Next Weather coming in tomorrow.